Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely fascinating, almost mind-bending text. We're going to explore the philosophy Yuanzi Shengming Qianwan, Life Qianiwan, Shandren Shuifeng, the Guide Shuifeng, the Jiawei Yuzhuzuo. For those who don't know, that translates to the teachings and writings of Guide Shuifeng, the founder of Life Qianiwan. Now, this framework completely flips everything we usually assume about morality upside down. You see, instead of preaching about how selflessness and altruism are the ultimate good, Shuifeng builds an entire system of seemingly flawless moral behavior entirely on the foundation of being totally self-interested.
Right off the bat, he hits us with this incredibly jarring statement. He just flat out declares that he lacks virtue, and that his single, solitary concern is his own ascension to the heavenly kingdom. No sugarcoating it whatsoever. He's laying all his cards on the table. He views this as the ultimate transaction, trading a finite, temporary earthly existence for infinite life and literally unparalleled returns. He even calls it life's greatest transaction, and one he'd absolutely never pass up.
So, that brings us to the big mystery we're unpacking today. How in the world can this radical, hyper-focused claim of pure self-interest actually motivate a life of deep environmental stewardship, intense familial care, and a complete, absolute rejection of hatred? Like, how do you arrive at perfect virtue when your starting line is pure selfishness?
Well, to really wrap our heads around that, we need to look closer at the actual paradox at the heart of his ideas.
Think about worldly selfishness, the kind we see every day. Usually, it exploits other people, right? It causes harm. But Xu Feng's version of selfishness is a totally different beast. Even though his motive is strictly 100% self-serving, the actions that come out of it are incredibly caring. He honors his parents, he cares deeply for his siblings, and he raises his children super conscientiously. Why? Simply because doing all those good things earns him the Creator's favor. It guarantees that nature and all life will care for him in return. And that highly transactional nature leads us straight into how he views our interactions with the world around us, almost like an invisible accounting system. The absolutely crucial mechanism here is debt. Basically, unpaid debts trap you. As long as you owe anything to anyone in the human world, you cannot ascend to the heavenly kingdom. You are forced right back into reincarnation just to pay it off. It is literally a cosmic ledger. You owe nature, your parents, your friends, even total strangers. So, he treats them all perfectly well, not because he's got this bleeding heart, but to clear his balance sheet and secure his own escape.
This even applies to animal conservation. He doesn't protect animal habitats out of some modern sense of ecological altruism. Nope. He does it because he flat out refuses to owe animals a cosmic debt. Benefiting at their expense creates a massive liability. He figures, if he harms them, he's just sowing the seeds of his own disaster. He literally risks being reborn into the animal realm himself just to repay that specific debt. So it's meticulous, highly calculated self-preservation.
But it's not just about what you do, it's also about what you feel, especially when it comes to the true cost of negative emotions.
Xu Feng talks about this pivotal realization he had while just looking in a mirror one day. He noticed that hatred physically disfigures a person. When he was happy, his reflection looked beautiful. But when he was filled with hate, he looked repulsive. And honestly, this is a huge problem for his selfish goals, because the celestials in the heavenly kingdom, they are incredibly beautiful. If hate makes him ugly, he simply won't fit in up there.
So, holding on to hatred isn't just a moral failing. In his view, it causes actual structural damage to your non-material essence, something he calls your life structure. Any outward ugliness is perfectly mirroring those inner structural flaws. To hold on to a grudge is basically actively dismantling your own spiritual integrity. He resolutely rejects hatred, for sure, but again, he's doing it purely to protect his own essence. This means if he's deceived or even bullied, he absolutely refuses to seek revenge. And it's definitely not to spare his enemies. It's entirely to protect his own perfection. He views hardships as just his destiny. If he blames others, it destroys his own spiritual shield, but if he just accepts it, he preserves himself. He explicitly says that if he is wronged, he deserves it, and he absorbs the blow purely to protect his path upward.
Okay, so, if the world is this crazy minefield of potential cosmic debt, how on earth does he handle love?
It's a fair question, right? If interacting with people is so risky, why choose to love anyone at all? Why not just totally isolate yourself in a cave somewhere? And while he does try to avoid typical worldly drama by associating mostly with sages and Buddhas, when he does actually love, his reasoning is brilliantly, ruthlessly specific.
Here is the ultimate revelation in his writings. Love is an inexhaustible investment. It's the one single action that actually flips the cosmic ledger in his favor. By loving others, he doesn't create debts for himself, he makes other people indebted to him. Expanding his influence this way mimics the greatest creator. Basically, he wants to be owed, because all that returned energy makes his own existence incredibly glorious and harmonious.
Which finally forces us to completely rethink what it means to live a noble life.
Just look at these examples. Whether he is enduring extreme hardships to maintain his inner peace, which he describes as burning brightly to produce milk even if he's only eating dry grass, or whether he's collecting fellow followers, his Chanwan celestials, as literal gems to beautify his own heavenly environment, every single action is meticulously calculated. He is absolutely desperate to avoid arriving at life's final station unprepared. He flat out refuses to look back and turn into a regretful pillar of salt. As we wrap up this explainer, let's look at how Xu Feng distills all of this into a final, highly rhythmic manifesto. It's a bold, totally unapologetic summary of his whole worldview. He says, "I love you, but not for your sake. It is for mine." He says, "I help you, but not for your sake. It is for me." He explicitly demands that we do not call him noble. Don't praise him for being selfless, and whatever you do, don't claim he's making some grand contribution to humanity.
He says, "I dedicate myself to you, but not for your sake. It is to fulfill my own purpose." He insists he has sacrificed absolutely nothing for his nation, his society, or his family, because every single thing he does, every ounce of care, every moment of extreme patience, is rooted in the absolute fact that he is entirely selfish. He's acting solely to fulfill his own cosmic destiny.
Which leaves us with this really provocative final thought. If an ideology of pure, highly calculated selfishness ultimately results in a person who deeply honors their family, fiercely protects nature, completely rejects all hatred, and actively pours love into others just to clear a cosmic ledger, does the underlying motive even matter? It is a brilliant paradox, isn't it? One that really challenges everything we think we know about what it means to be good. Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating framework with me today.